This way, please.
This is amazing.
When Bill Clinton was president, he stayed here several times.
If these walls could talk.
Yes. Oh, and if there's anything you need, anything at all, please call me directly.
I will, thank you.
Congratulations again.
Thank you. Your staff has been wonderful.
Finally, alone at last. Oh, you look so beautiful. Gee, you know what? I almost forgot. Okay. I got you a little something. Da-da-da. I hope you like them.
The earrings I wanted from Santa Fe.
Am I romantic or what? Who is it?
I'll tell you what. You get that, and I'm gonna go put these on.
Okay. All right. Hi. Come on in. I love you. That's fine. Thanks.
David? Hello? Sir? Where's my husband? David? Ah! No! My God. Why?
If you need any help, hang up and dial the operator.
What just...
So is this a temporary assignment or full-time?
You ask too many questions.
That's my job.
Not tonight.
Hello?
Don't tell me I woke you up.
It's my day off, Warren.
Not anymore. Better throw some water in your face and get down to the Royal Marquis.
You taking me to brunch?
Believe me, Boxer. After you see this, you won't have any appetite. Bride 25 was from a wealthy family in Bellingham. Groom 27 was David Brandt, son of Gerald Brandt.
The big developer?
The old man's about $2 short of Bill Gates. The wedding was right out of Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. The mayor gave a toast. There was a couple congressmen, a U.S. senator. Hey, guess who Brandt flew in to sing at the reception?
Elvis.
Celine Dion. She comes out and sings a song from the Titanic, and there wasn't a dry eye in the house.
Sad.
What?
The way it all ended. When was the last time somebody saw them alive?
Manager saw him about 11 p.m. Maid found him this morning at 8.
Nobody heard anything? They must have been screaming.
Well, with the presidential suite, you're paying for privacy.
Sid, Cindy Thomas, they won't let me in. They're saying it's an active crime scene.
You asked for the sign, Sydney. Figure it out.
Thanks for your support.
Just one quick cut.
Yeah. The bride wasn't quite so lucky.
Dad was an amateur. Why did he take Brant's jacket off after he killed him?
You got me.
How did the killer get access?
You figure he came in dressed up as a waiter. He brought in this.
Have this marked. I think that's a blood spatter. Clodagh Moore in 1989.
Does that mean something?
The killer has expensive taste.
Hi, I have a delivery for a guest, Mr. Alan Edison.
Dr. Washburn?
Inspector?
Not often do we see the chief and me at a crime scene.
Not often a billionaire's son and his new bride are murdered on their wedding night.
How bad is it?
Very bad.
Do you have an ETD?
Based on the rigor, I estimate between 10 and midnight. Sure you're ready to see this?
It's part of the job. Who could have done something like this?
Right down the line. All right. We'll just make sure that's I'll make the by the window. It's been finished. This is all done. It's over on the east wall. I didn't do the search. Barnes is on it.
You still in there?
Yeah. You come back 46, 47, 48.
Hey! Excuse me, who are you?
Cindy Thomas. I'm with the Star Ledger.
A reporter? Oh, come on, guys! How the hell did you get up here?
Gotta admit, that was quite a send-off. And you sure were having fun.
I drank too much.
Who's the guy you left with?
He's a captain in community relations.
Nice.
He's a real gentleman, too. When I woke up this morning, he was gone. No note, no goodbye.
Maybe that's why he's a captain.
So how soon till you have some prelims?
Maybe tomorrow. I'm not gonna rush this.
No, you're right. Y'all better cover our asses on this one.
You know what? Screw the First Amendment, honey. You see this? This is a restricted crime scene, and you're trespassing.
Whoa, what's going on here?
She claims to be a reporter for the Star Ledger. They must really be scraping the bottom of the barrel over there.
I'll handle this, okay?
I think we should pull a press badge.
Make sure the elevators are sealed.
What a jerk. I was just doing my job.
You've no right to be here, Miss Thomas. You could have contaminated the crime scene.
I was only in there like a minute.
Sometimes that's all it takes. Officer, could you please escort this young lady downstairs? Was there any problem with the tests? Well, is the doctor there? Can I speak to him? Yeah. Yeah, no, I understand. How about tomorrow afternoon? Okay, I'll see you then.
I know how you're feeling. I'm sure it was rough up there. I've never seen a dead body before.
Is this a coincidence, or are you following me?
Girl's gotta pee.
Star usually sends Frank McGuire.
Frank's in Australia on vacation. I'm normally a lifestyles reporter. You know, Lovesick Panda worries you officials. Does the donut diet really work? I've been begging them to let me do some hard news, so here I am. That other cop was telling me you're the city's first female homicide inspector. That's really cool. You must be good.
Miss Thomas?
It's Cindy. So, what do you think? Work of a madman or a well-planned hit?
All information regarding this case will come through our media office.
Oh, come on. Can't you give me just a little something?
Okay. But this is totally off the record.
Absolutely.
My cousin tried the donut diet. It definitely doesn't work.
I love this quote from Jacoby. Screw the First Amendment.
That was totally taken out of context. Jacoby was just trying...
Jacoby's a bull in a china shop. He can't be out front on an investigation like this.
What's that supposed to mean?
We're putting a special team together, Boxer. That's what it means.
Fine. But Jacoby has to be a part of this team.
Hey, you want him? He can still work the field. But as of today, Boxer, you got yourself a new partner. And here he is.
Sorry I'm late. Press briefing at the mayor's office.
No problem. You know Joe Barnett from the DA's office?
Sure do.
Captain Christopher Raleigh, this is Inspector Lindsay Boxer.
Nice to see you again, Inspector.
You two know each other?
We met at Tony G's retirement party.
Good. Captain Rowley's on loan from the mayor's office. Because of the Brandt family, the situation has a lot of political sensitivities.
So he's been brought in to look over our shoulder?
Don't get your back up, Boxer. You two are going to work together overseeing the task force.
Then who's in charge?
Well, he is a captain. Who do you think's in charge?
I think partner is the operative term, Lieutenant. I'm not trying to pull rank, Inspector. You have a great reputation. I'm confident we can work things out.
Oh, Captain. I hope you're right. I'm late. I have to go.
What's going on?
We've been screwed. I can't talk. I'll call you from the car.
What do you mean we've been screwed?
Miss Boxer? Sorry this took so long.
Oh, no problem. I just learned how to improve my sex life, triple my income, and fix a leaky toilet.
All at once.
And for only $49.95. So, any surprises?
I'm afraid so. Now we know why you've been feeling so run down lately.
What is it?
Please, let's go up to my office.
So what did you find?
You have a condition called Negley's aplastic anemia. Because of that, your body's no longer manufacturing red blood cells.
Obviously, that's not good.
I know. Please, have a seat. Now, this is what normal blood work should look like. This is a likeness of the blood smear we took from you. These, large globules are red blood cells. Problem is, you don't have that many. See the difference?
Was that reversible?
Well, it can be.
So this is treatable,
It can be.
but not always.
No.
Are you saying I could die?
Negley's can be fatal.
So you are telling me I could die?
On the positive side, you are otherwise in excellent shape. You might respond very well to treatment. I apologize for being so candid, but I believe my patient should always know the truth.
No, yeah, I agree. So, just tell me what we have to do. I swear, I was so pissed. I wanted to tell Roth to take my badge and shove it. Talk about a double whammy. I mean, this isn't only a professional insult to me, to Jacoby, to the whole department.
Now, calm down a second, Lindsay. I mean, the first part of this equation is simple. It's all about politics. And it could be a blessing in disguise.
How's that?
Gerald Brandt knows every politician in this state, and he's going to want to have this crime solved yesterday. And he doesn't want to hear we're doing our best or how long it takes to mount a proper investigation. You let your Captain Raleigh deal with all that crap.
Okay, so I've just accepted the fact that I have to report to a PR cop. How about the other issue?
Well, you gotta admit, he's a lot cuter than Jacoby. I mean, he is fine.
This isn't funny, Claire. Now I have to report to a guy I had a one-night stand with. A guy who just screwed and split.
Did he talk to you after the meeting?
No, I had to leave right away.
Look, I'm not saying this isn't awkward.
That's an understatement.
Well, he has to deal with this too. You're both adults, and it's not the end of the world.
This has not been a good day.
Is something wrong? Did something else happen?
Have you ever heard of Negley's aplastic anemia?
Yeah, it's a blood disease.
And it develops in stages.
Right, it usually starts out with a mild depletion of red cells, followed by a more serious shortage. Someone you know have it?
Yeah. Me.
What?
My doctor thought I had a touch of anemia, so she referred me to a hematologist. I got the test results back this afternoon. I read about it on the internet. It sounds like I've gone through stages 1 and 2. By stage 3, your entire system shuts down. By stage 4, they're fitting you for a casket. Article said the survival rate's only about 25%.
Did you tell anyone else?
No. And you can't either.
Look, you listen. Listen to me. I am going to do everything I can to help you. But you have got to help yourself. You've got to slow down. You've got to stay focused and be positive. Do you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't want to die. Oh. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay.
Yeah, call off the APB. She just got here.
We were starting to get worried.
I got stuck on the ferry.
You look a little flush. You okay?
I'm fine.
Shall we start? David died from cardiac arrest. The knife ruptured his AV mode and immediately shut down his heart's electrical system.
What about the weapon?
From the wound, I would say the knife was 7 inches long, single blade with a handle guard.
Like a fishing knife.
More like a hunter's. Went right through the ribs. Had to be very strong. From the entrance pattern, I would say the killer's probably about 5'10" to 6 feet. Probably right-handed.
Well, that's a start.
Yeah. Poor kid was so scared so fast, he wet his pants.
Let's keep that from the press.
What are you saying, Captain? Dr. Washburn shouldn't put this in her report?
Excuse me, Inspector. I'm not suggesting anyone tamper with evidence. I just want to avoid any embarrassment for the families. Can't you bury that under some fancy medical language? I'm just looking for a little common courtesy here.
Yeah, I'll think of something.
Thank you.
Although David's death came very quickly, apparently the bride put up quite a struggle. Maybe that's why the killer kept slashing. You okay?
Yeah.
This is where it gets interesting. I did a quick and dirty blood typing and I found that some of the blood is not David Brandt's.
Is it the killer's?
No, the bride. He was O positive and she was AB negative.
How's that possible?
It's not, Captain. Melanie was killed a good 30 feet from David.
Thank you, Inspector.
I struggled with that too. Then I went back and I lined up the jacket with David's torso. The slash mark didn't match the wound. Then I discovered that the jacket wasn't the same brand as his pants.
Do you think the jacket belonged to the killer?
Who else?
So maybe the murders were personal.
Why would you say that?
Because a pro wouldn't leave behind a clue like that. I'll get Jacoby right on this. Have you met him yet?
Yesterday.
He's a little rough around the edges, but he's a good cop.
Do me a favor, Inspector. Don't ever pull a stunt like that on me again.
Like what?
You got a problem with something I say or something I do, you tell me in private. Don't use me to score points in front of other people.
That's not what I was trying to do. I really think you're overreacting here, Captain.
If I am, I have good reason. I am the one who had to tell Gerald Brandt that his new daughter-in-law and son had been brutally murdered. Look. I know you think I was a jerk for up and leaving that morning, but I got a 911 on the Brandt case.
Why didn't you wake me?
You were sound asleep. I wanted to call you in the office, but then everything hit the fan.
Let's just forget it.
Are you sure you can? Because if you don't want to work together, now's the time to speak up. We don't have to be friends, Inspector, but we have to be partners.
We're both professionals here, Captain. We know what has to be done, and I'm more than prepared to do it.
Good. That's all I needed to know.
This jacket's our first break. We need to canvass every tuxedo and rental shop in the area. What about the champagne bottle?
You were right. Label's real expensive. I just tracked down the West Coast distributor. I'm gonna see him first thing in the morning.
You're too efficient, Jacoby.
Yeah, I'm just trying to make you look good, boxer.
I'll talk to you later. Hi. You've got some nerve showing your face around here.
How come?
Your little article upset a lot of people.
Well, I was just doing my job, Inspector.
Like I told you before, you have questions about this case, you go through our media office. That means you don't come to my office and you don't call me directly on the phone.
I called your media office, and all I got was a runaround.
Then keep calling.
Look, the regular beat reporter is back next week. I am history unless I can break something big.
What do you want me to do? Tell you who the killer is?
Well, that would do it.
Cindy, if you really want to be a good reporter, you need to start listening to what people say. One, I don't have any great scoop to give you. And two, even if I did, why should I?
Maybe I can give you something. Something to help you solve the case.
Like what?
One of our business writers is tracking a story that Gerald Brandt, the dead groom's father, was recently involved in a complicated deal involving a Russian telecom company. The deal fell apart at the last minute, and a group of Russian speculators, make that gangsters, lost a fortune. There's your motive. Pay back to the father.
I'll check it out.
So we have an understanding then?
I said I'd check it out. Inspector Boxer.
He's not striding right. Check him out when you get back to the stable.
Excuse me, Mr. Brandt?
We'll talk later. Inspector Boxer.
Yes, sir. Sorry to come out here on such short notice.
No problem. You know, it's a funny thing, Inspector. This is the only place I seem to be able to find any peace. At home, at the office, in my car. All I can think about is what happened. That's my favorite picture of David. It's a memory I'll always cherish. Wasn't really a great athlete. Always gave his best, 110%. Just the kind of kid he was. Do you have any children, Inspector?
No.
Because I'll tell you, all the money and career success in the world just means nothing. I'm sorry, Inspector. I know you didn't come down here to see a tough old man cry. In fact, you said on the phone there was some kind of rumor I could help clear up.
I just thought you should know that the Star Ledger is working on a report linking these murders to one of your recent business deals.
That's ridiculous.
They have a source that claims that there are criminal factions in Russia that are angry at you for pulling out of a Kolya Telecom deal.
First of all, Inspector, I don't deal with criminal factions. Kolya's management is the Russian government. What, I'm some sort of suspect now?
No, sir, absolutely not.
This was just business. A tough negotiation, yes, but nothing different than I deal with all the time. David's death had nothing to do with this.
With all due respect, sir, how can you be so sure?
Because, Inspector, negotiations never really broke off. That was just a ploy that we used for the media. The deal for Kolya closed weeks ago. Everybody was happy. Everybody made money.
Cindy, line 3.
It's me.
Oh, hi.
Don't go with the Russian hit story. It's totally bogus. The deal did go down. Everybody was happy.
You sure?
Positive. I just got off the phone with someone from the State Department. So you better make this stop. Because if you don't, by the time Gerald Brandt's lawyers get through with you, he'll end up owning the paper.
Okay. Thanks.
Stupid ass. You scared the hell out of me.
Sorry.
What are you doing here?
I guess gray minds think alike.
Well, you could have knocked, you know.
I said I was sorry. You find anything?
We missed something here. I can feel it.
Missed what?
The killer doesn't take the earrings. He doesn't take the pearls. Regardless of the motive, why not steal the jewelry and make it look like a robbery? And why did he leave the bloody jacket?
Maybe he panicked. Phone rang, he heard a voice down the hall.
I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. Wait a second. Look. Look at her fingers. Now look at David. Same thing. Neither one is wearing a wedding band. And that's really bad news.
Why?
Because taking the rings could be his signature. That means he's not finished yet. He's gonna kill again.
Is that a bald eagle out there?
Sure is.
That's a very good one.
Why is that?
Well, there's an old Indian legend. It says if a couple sees an eagle on their honeymoon, 50 years later, they'll still be able to make wild, passionate love.
50 years? How about 50 minutes?
If we hurry, we can be there in an hour.
Let's go.
I think it's a stretch to say he's a serial killer.
By taking the rings, he's signing his murders. He's toying with us, leaving clues. A professional wouldn't do that.
Unless he's clever.
Well, why would he switch jackets with the groom?
He's dressed in a tuxedo, disguised as a waiter. Jacket gets soaked with blood. He sees David Brandt's lying there. He switched jackets so nobody would notice when he left the hotel.
Why go to all the trouble of making the slash marks? As if nobody would figure out the jackets were a different size, a different make.
Like I said, he's really clever. He's just trying to throw us off.
Maybe.
Hey, you want to get a cup of coffee?
I can't. I have a dentist appointment.
Does that mean I get a rain check?
I gotta go.
Hey, Lindsay. Figuring out the rings we're missing? That was a good catch.
Oh, the room's great. The grounds are fantastic. Dad would absolutely love this golf course. No, actually, we're heading to this famous restaurant called the French Touch. Yeah, it's way up in the north end of the county, but everyone says it's worth the drive. Yeah, I will. Love you too, Mom. Bye. Do not do this to me.
Why not?
I'm gonna be late. We'll lose our reservation.
That better not be your dad with his golf clubs.
Get dressed.
Hi. Come on in. Evening, sir. Compliments of the manager.
Oh, thank you. Please.
Would you like me to pour it now, sir?
No, actually, we're just gonna have it later. Nice.
Thank you, sir. If there's anything else you need, please call.
Will do.
Mr. DeGraw?
You're kidding.
What's going on?
The restaurant sent a limo.
Wow! Oh my.
Welcome, folks. It's a good hour's drive, so have a drink and enjoy yourselves. I'm putting up the privacy screen. If you need anything, you just hit the intercom.
Thank you.
Is this gonna be fun or what?
Yes, it is.
We there already?
Sorry to interrupt.
Any negative reactions to the transfusions?
First I get energized, and then I get really tired.
Well, that's normal. It's nothing to worry about.
What happens if the transfusions don't work?
Well, right now, that's a big if.
Well, not so big.
Lindsay.
Come on, Claire, this is important. I need to know.
Okay. The worst case is you're gonna need a bone marrow transplant.
Which is a big deal, right?
Right. And just to be on the safe side, you might want to start thinking about a suitable donor. Have you told anyone in your family yet?
No.
Well, I think you better.
Hello?
A friend of mine's a sheriff in Eagle County. He's got something we should check out at the Highlands Inn.
I'll meet you there in an hour. That was Raleigh. A honeymoon couple is missing.
Around 6 p.m., Michael DeGraff called the concierge for directions to the restaurant. That was the last anybody heard from them.
What about their car?
Never left the parking lot. Becky, the bride, had a massage scheduled for 9 a.m., which she obviously didn't make.
What about the French restaurant?
That's what got us worried. Hotel operator says they called to confirm the dinner reservation, but the restaurant insists it never did.
Beautiful girl.
Just like Melanie Brandt.
You sure the car hasn't been used since they checked in?
Positive. And there were no footprints or signs of a struggle anywhere near it. It's like they just disappeared somewhere between their suite and the parking lot.
Maybe they took a taxi or a car service.
Might want to check to see if any cabs or limos have been recently stolen.
Oh, no. So why are you all out here today? Is there another murder?
Who's that?
A reporter.
A reporter?
I'll handle it.
Can you tell me anything? No? Nothing.
Excuse me. Hi. What, so now you've staked out my house? And don't tell me you didn't follow me out here.
Look, I am a very desperate woman. I will admit to that. I need something the other papers don't have, or they're going to kick me off this story.
You know something? You have now become one royal pain in the ass.
Is that a compliment?
No. But I'm going to make you an offer that
What kind of offer?
Get in your car, go home. As soon as I figure out what's going on around here, I'll call you and I'll give you an exclusive.
Do you think there's been another murder?
If there was, you'll be the first reporter to find out.
So you will be my inside source from now on?
If you play by the rules.
Okay. But you better call me.
I will.
You promise?
Yes.
Fisherman thought he heard some shots the other night. One of our searchers found some blood on an old dock road that a car had been on recently. We didn't know if it was human or animal, but it sure got our attention. So we brought in some dogs, and that's how we found them.
Sheriff says it looks like they were both shot at close range. I'm heading over there now. See if you can bring your friend Claire. I'll clear it with the local coroner.
What about the wedding bands? Did anybody check?
Yeah, both of them were missing. You were right, Lindsay. The bastard's a serial killer.
I've got an emergency. I'll call later to reschedule.
Yeah, well, anyways, I was thinking if I don't wear gloves, my dress will be just like this.
It's pretty.
Yeah, nice and simple.
Are you having a big wedding?
Just our family and some close friends. We're getting married July 4th weekend at Cathedral Forest.
Oh, that's romantic.
Yeah, and we're gonna stay there and just camp out for a week.
I guess we're ready.
Oh. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Come on, if you could just...
I can't believe your pal there. What the hell were you thinking? She asked me about the missing wedding rings.
First of all, she's not my pal. And second, I didn't tell her anything.
Then who did?
I don't know. There are a lot of people around here, so don't go blaming me. Especially since you're the one who just confirmed it.
I do not want this investigation turning into a circus. Are we clear, Inspector?
Yes, sir.
A little lover's quarrel.
Oh, don't start.
Hey.
Hey, great place to dump a body.
Yeah, that's exactly what he did. Claire says it's obvious from the pattern of bloodstains.
Killer's organized. He's got a game plan.
And access to money. He knows the world of expensive champagnes and stretch limos.
How do you know he was driving a stretch?
Well, that's a standard radial tire on an extra wide wheelbase.
Not bad for a PR cop.
You sound like Lindsay.
There's no way around it. This is going to be front-page news all across the country. We're all going to get squeezed and second-guessed.
Stop it. You're depressing me. I mean, it's not like there's anything we can do differently.
I'm not so sure about that. We're all smart. We each come at this from a different discipline. Why not use our heads and come up with a way around the system? How? Well, what if we met informally, like once or twice a week? That way we could kick around ideas, pool our thoughts, take a fresh look at the evidence.
We could call ourselves the Homicide Chicks. Rather brilliant, babe?
Come on, I'm serious about this.
It's an interesting idea.
Claire?
Well, as long as we can play cards or something. I just don't want it to be all work.
Then it's agreed. How about the Women's Murder Club?
Okay by me.
That's not bad.
To the Women's Murder Club.
Anything yet on the bloody tuxedo jacket?
It's a style from the early 80s. None of the rental shops keep records that far back.
Were we cross-checking everything from the weddings, florists, guest lists, travel agents?
Toby's into it.
Well, what about pawn shops, just in case he tries to move the wedding bands?
Check, but he won't. They're his trophies. They remind him that he's winning.
Look, Lindsay, I'm sorry for snapping at you yesterday.
Forget it. We're all under a lot of pressure.
Hey, you okay?
Yeah.
What happened?
I'm all right. I took some medicine on an empty stomach.
Are you sure that's all it is?
I'm sure.
Well, I'm gonna take you home.
I'll be fine.
Forget it. There's no way you're driving. Hey, look, just relax, okay? Deep breaths. Okay, look, my car's right over here. I never got to tell you before. You have a great house.
Oh, thanks. It's the only positive thing that came out of my divorce.
Yeah, worked in reverse for me.
Do you want a cup of coffee?
Maybe another time. I gotta pick up my son at school. You know, you've been working too hard. I don't want you getting sick on me. I'll call you later. See how you're doing.
Thanks.
So, how are we feeling today?
Okay, I guess. Are you seeing any improvement?
So far, we've done 8 packed red cell transfusions. And unfortunately, your erythrocyte count continues to decline.
So I'm not making any progress.
Let's just say this is not the trend we were hoping for.
Ballistics confirmed they were shot from the front seat. Interesting, 1 bullet from the groom and 3 for the bride.
I don't think this guy likes women.
But that's not why I got you down here. Unlike the first victim, this time there was something left behind. I found several half-inch reddish hairs on the bride.
Reddish?
Yeah, and it wasn't the victim's or her husband. It was from a man's beard.
The killer's?
Oh, that's my guess. He may have rested his chin on her hair as he was dragging her from the car.
So now we know he has a beard.
More than that, there are a couple of follicles still attached.
So now we have some DNA.
Exactly.
So based on the beard sample, you figure that this guy's how old?
Early 40s, give or take a year here or there.
And you said he was average height and right-handed.
That's great. We've just narrowed it down to about 10 million suspects.
Well, he's obviously got an obsession with brides, right? I mean, the groom seems secondary. He just kills them quick and then moves on.
And he does his homework. With both kills, he seemed to know everything. Where they were married, room numbers, honeymoon itinerary. There's obviously something about weddings that sets him off.
Maybe he's some florist who got stuck with a lot of bad bills.
Or a jeweler.
How about a deranged postal employee who was mailing their wedding invitations?
Seriously, guys, there just has to be a connection here.
Hello?
Both of the murdered brides bought their gowns at the bridal studio.
Lindsay, where the hell are you?
At the office. I just did a global cross-check.
That's good work.
Thanks. I'm sorry I woke you.
No, it's okay. I'm glad you called.
I'll see you tomorrow.
When I first heard about poor Becky, I was sick. She was such a beautiful girl, so full of life.
Didn't you do Melanie Brandt's fitting too?
No, I was on vacation at the time. That's why it didn't hit me until after.
Have there been any breaches in security lately?
Well, not that I'm aware of.
You said you keep detailed records on all of your clients. How private is that information?
Well, only myself and my 2 associates have the password. What are you doing?
Just want to check something. When was the last time Becky DeGraff came in?
Monday the 28th.
Somebody hacked into your system on Saturday the 26th.
Oh my God. How could they?
It's not as hard as you think.
Was it the killer?
Everything he needed to know is right there. Did anything unusual happen around the time of Becky's last fitting?
I didn't remember this until after you called. But something odd did happen. There was this strange man. He was looking through our catalog. And I told him I'd be with him shortly. And the next thing I knew, he had disappeared.
Did you get a good look at him?
Not great. I remember he had a goatee. Yes. No, I think his face was a little thinner. That's better. But I remember him being younger.
How much younger?
Early 30s, maybe?
You sure about that?
No. I had such a brief look at him.
Besides the DNA, we now have an eyewitness, and we know where the killer's been finding his victims. Jacoby, how do you feel about going undercover at the bridal studio?
Now, would that be as a man or as a woman?
It would have to be a woman. But don't worry, I have a great dress you can borrow.
Oh, I'm getting excited already. Hey, do you think the department would pay to have my legs waxed?
All right, come on, let's get back to business.
On Saturday, the studio bride is getting married, then staying at the Sylvia Hotel. That's why we don't want anyone outside of this room to know about the sketch.
How come?
Because we're all gonna be at that wedding on Saturday. And hopefully, the killer is too. I say we give it 10 more minutes.
What's the hurry?
I feel like an idiot.
Why? You look gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
I don't know how I let you guys talk me into this. I am never gonna live it down in the squad room.
Trust me, no one's gonna respect you less for looking great in a wedding gown.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that.
Who is it?
Hotel staff.
Be right there.
It's him.
Down! On the floor, right now!
No, please, God, no! My wife just had a baby, don't kill me, please!
Who are you? Who sent you?
Eddie Jones. I work for the hotel. The manager set me up.
Get up. Call downstairs.
False alarm, Captain. Roth told the manager not to change any hotel procedures. I always send flowers and newlyweds.
Why didn't they just tell us?
We do this all the time.
Eddie, right?
Yeah.
Hey, we're sorry about all this.
Can I go now?
Yeah.
You still want the flowers?
No.
Okay.
We call it Jacoby's Law, Captain.
Oh, yeah? What's that?
Murphy was an optimist.
secret rendezvous?
Yeah?
In the men's room?
Sounds sexy.
You never know.
Is that you, baby? Hey, man, what are you doing?
Baby. James, you in here? You in here? Quit fooling around. Oh, babe, what? This.
Hi, Captain.
Nikki?
You should have worn white.
There's no question that Dr. Shimura is the best in his field, but you have to get another opinion.
Why? We know what I have. It's not like there's a miracle cure out there.
No, but there are alternative treatments, and let's be honest, the program you're on doesn't seem to be working.
That's for sure. Look, at this point, I'm willing to see a snake charm.
I can't tell you how frustrated I am. Here I am, a doctor, and I can't heal.
You are a great friend. And right now, that is just as important.
Hey, I hope the PR captain can keep the screw-up with the waiter out of the paper.
So far, so good.
Homicide. Yeah, she's right here. It's a cop from Cleveland. McBride?
Cleveland.
Reason I'm calling is we've got a bride and groom murder here that fits the FBI profile you folks submitted.
How many shots were fired?
One into the male.
A whole bunch of female.
Were either of the victims wearing a wedding ring?
Nope, neither one.
Oh, God.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Cleveland. Local time is 10 a.m. and the temperature is 58 degrees.
Inspector Boxer. This is Dr. Washburn. How you doing?
According to a witness, James Bosco came in here to smoke some marijuana. This was a really wild crowd. Bosco was some kind of music producer.
Was he from here?
Yeah. So's the bride. But like I mentioned on the phone, she recently moved back from Seattle. James apparently told Kathy to meet him here. By the time she arrived, we guessed he was dead and the killer was waiting.
And nobody heard the shots?
You know, the music was really loud. Ballistics figured he used a silencer.
Well, with a crowd that size, you would think somebody else would be using the washroom.
This area was supposed to be closed off to the party.
Any security cameras?
Not here, but there were several monitoring the lobby and the side doors. We're having it all transferred onto a master tape.
That could be a break.
Absolutely.
Mrs. Kogan, I'm Chris Raleigh. We spoke on the phone.
I tried to do my best. I always did. But after my husband died, nothing was ever the same. He and Kathy were so close. She was just 13 when he died. She was devastated. So was I. Nothing I could do seemed to help. She withdrew more and more and started acting up at school. What makes this so unbelievable is that for years, I'd wake up in the middle of the night fearing that something like this would happen.
Do you mean she'd be killed?
No. Just that something terrible would happen. She ran with a very fast crowd, and I knew that she was involved in drugs. But then, about a year ago, right around the time she met James, she seemed to really settle down. For the first time since her father died, we could actually talk without fighting. She seemed really happy, finally at peace.
I'm so sorry, Mrs. Kogan. Maybe I should come back at another time.
No. I'll be okay. Please, I really want to help.
Okay. What I'm most interested in is the time that Kathy spent in Seattle. Do you recall if that was a good period or bad?
Very bad. I don't know if it was all that rain, but every time I talked to her, she sounded depressed.
How long did she live there?
I can't remember. At least a year, maybe 2. She followed a boy, and when they broke up, she just stayed.
Why did she come back to Cleveland?
On a visit home, she met Jimmy Bosco. They knew each other from high school.
Did she buy her wedding dress here or in Seattle?
Here. She found it in a little secondhand shop.
Did anyone from Seattle come to the wedding?
Just that Merrill Kale.
Merrill Kale.
Yeah, really bad apple. I didn't want her to come, but Kathy insisted.
Is this Merrill Kale here, or did she go back?
I don't know. Sorry.
No. That's okay, Mrs. Kogan. You've been a big help.
Who is it? Police. Hold on. I really got nothing to say. I mean, I didn't see anything.
I understand you were friends with Kathy in Seattle.
I don't know about friends. We used to just party together.
Then why did she invite you to her wedding?
You'd have to ask her.
I'm afraid I can't. I believe that somebody who knew Kathy in Seattle killed her.
Hey, hold on here. Are you saying I did it? This is crazy. Why would I want to hurt Kathy?
If you just let me finish. Of course, I'm not saying that you did it. But maybe you know who did.
Look, lady, I don't know anything. Anything, all right? I hadn't seen Kathy in over a year. Only reason I came is because she sent me a free ticket. This is too weird, okay? I'm leaving in the morning and I gotta pack. Got nothing more to say.
All right. Meryl, in case you are going out, you may want to clean your nose. What the hell are you doing here?
It's the biggest story in the country, Lindsay. Half my plane were reporters. Hi. We met at the second crime scene.
Right. And you know Claire?
Met her there too.
Cindy?
May I join you?
Just don't ask any questions. And if we talk about the case, cover your ears.
Okay.
Thank you. My guess, this killing was personal.
Based on what?
Why else would he go all the way to Cleveland?
Maybe he's a big Drew Carey fan?
Well, I have some information. A nightclub owner in Capitol Hill told me that Kathy Kogut was a total party animal.
Just like Meryl Kale. I'm telling you, she knows a lot more than she's letting on.
When we get back, you should bring her in for questioning.
I plan to. You know, the funny thing is, I should have sent you in to talk to her.
Oh, because I'd be more in tune with a drugged out wacko?
It's a generational thing. That's all we're saying.
Yeah. When did you say she was flying back?
Tomorrow. Why?
Final boarding call for Flight 18, Minneapolis-St. Paul. Passengers holding tickets from rows 20 to 32 may now board Flight 117 to Chicago.
Hey, I miss anything?
It's like that movie Groundhog Day. It just keeps repeating and repeating itself.
Yeah, well, it's all the angles of the different cameras.
How long is this thing delayed?
I don't know.
God, I hate to fly.
Flight 1632, continuing service to Baltimore, is now boarding.
That's cool.
Flight attendant Ray, please call schedule.
I just got this one. Very cool. Thanks. Do you want some?
Yeah.
Captain Stewart, please dial 5839. Captain Stewart, 5839.
Hold it. Wait, go back. Go back. No, too far. Here. There.
Hit zoom.
That's him, Rolly. That's our killer.
About an hour out of Cleveland, Meryl goes into the bathroom and takes something. For the rest of the trip, she was a non-stop chatterbox. Said Kathy Kogut had a really kinky side. She and Meryl used to prowl all the underground clubs. She said there was nothing Kathy wouldn't do or try.
Did she have any theories on who the killer was?
Yep.
And?
I can't tell you guys. That would be betraying a trust.
Cindy.
Okay. But first, you have to make me a full-fledged member of your club.
Meaning what?
Whatever you know, I'll know. You can trust me. There will never be a fingerprint. Everything I get will be totally off the record.
It better be.
For the next time you see me, I'll be dissecting you like a frog.
Fair enough.
We got the South Alley covered.
All right, let's go. Hold it right there, sweetheart.
Don't shoot, man. Don't shoot.
Cuff and search her.
What?
Yeah, I know. You have no idea how that got there, do you?
You guys set me up, didn't you?
Why would you think such a thing?
I have a right to remain silent. I'm not answering any questions until I talk to a lawyer.
OJ's defense team couldn't help you on this one, Meryl. You're not only in violation of your probation, but this arrest, if we file charges, makes 3 strikes. You know what that means?
What do you mean, if you file charges?
Well, let's just say that you suddenly remember something that leads to the apprehension and arrest of Kathy Kogut's killer. Well, in that case, who knows? We just might be able to overlook this little indiscretion. Get in the car.
Yes, I know there's movement in the image, but can it be enhanced digitally?
Rolly.
Call you back.
I got Redbeard's name. Just a first name, but a name.
From Merrill Kale?
She told Jacoby that Kathy Kogut had this secret lover, an older guy called Nicky.
Did Merrill ever meet him?
No, she said she never brought him around because A, he was married, and B, he's a celebrity.
A celebrity?
Who's a famous Nick or Nicholas? He could be someone from Hollywood. A lot of them have summer places in the islands.
Wait, time out. What makes you so sure this Nicky is our guy?
Because Kathy told Merrill that he really got off on abusing women. He got so rough one night, Kathy thought he was gonna kill her. This is him, Chris. This is him.
It's the first time you ever called me Chris.
I guess it shows you how excited I am.
Oh, you should be, Lindsay. You've done a hell of a job on the case.
Oh, thanks. You've done a pretty good job yourself. Oh, we can't do this, Raleigh.
We're already back to Raleigh?
It's not good for either of us.
Speak for yourself.
I'm serious. This just can't work.
Why not?
Captain Raleigh, Mayor Brown's on line 1.
I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
Whatever happened to the lead you had on the champagne bottle left from the first murder?
Turns out they don't sell in the States anymore.
Somebody has to sell it.
I don't know. That's what the guy who used to distribute it told me.
Now, this particular label sometimes goes as high as $25,000 a case.
Now, a Clos de Marmont isn't in that league, is it?
Oh, good Lord, no. Don't get me wrong, it is an excellent champagne. You can probably pick up a bottle for between $400 and $600.
Well, that's still pretty pricey.
Well, the average person, yes, but not for our clientele. Ah, now this Bordeaux. It's nearly 200 years old. Once belonged to William Randolph Hearst. It has a pre-auction estimate of over $100,000.
Now, that's really pricey.
Mm-hmm.
I assume you keep good records? You keep your mailing lists up to date?
We try.
Can I have a copy?
Well, part of our service is confidentiality. I would be very loath to give any information out on our clientele, you understand.
Oh, yeah, I understand. But I also think that your clients wouldn't be too happy if they read in the paper that we had to get a court order to search your files. Please, I just need to have a quick look at your client list. You can stay with me while I do it.
Very well. Thank you. How are we doing?
Good. Can I ask you about a couple of names?
Yes, of course.
Nikolai Popov.
Nikolai Popov. Owns a chain of seafood restaurants.
You wouldn't consider him a celebrity, would you?
Goodness, no. His restaurants are dreadful.
Okay. Nicholas Jenks.
Nicholas Jenks.
I was wondering whether I'd see you again.
I finally got a lead on the champagne left at the first killing.
What's the lead?
3 years ago, 2 cases were sold at auction to a rich private collector. And guess what his name was?
Nicholas Jenks?
Wait until you see what Nicky Jenks looks like.
And then the fat detective says, "So who listens?" There's nothing like the sharp smell of formaldehyde or the depressing sheen of hospital-tiled halls to make the drudgery of chasing down leads seem like inspired work. The joke in Homicide about the morgue was that in spite of the lousy climate, the place was good for business. But as they say, That's where the bodies are. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. To my #1 fan.
Thank you.
Thank you. And your name, please?
Boxer.
That's an interesting name for such a pretty woman.
It's Inspector Boxer. Metro Homicide.
I have a lot of fans on the force. How would you like it inscribed, Inspector?
I know who you are, and I know what you did.
How about best wishes?
Until we meet again, Nikki. Until we meet again.
You're trying to do.
Hi, this is Chris. Leave a message. Thanks.
It's Lindsay. If you're still up, I really need to talk. Don't worry about waking me. I can't sleep. Who's there?
It's Chris. Hey.
What are you doing here?
Well, you sounded kind of frazzled on the phone, so I thought I'd swing by.
Oh, I wish you'd call. My house is a mess. I just.
You want me to go?
No. Come in. The dream was so real. Jenks was so creepy. I went to bed thinking about him. Those eyes, that face, this arrogance.
What are you doing, Lindsay? Why did you go and see him? What the hell were you thinking?
It was an impulse thing. I just saw in the paper that he was doing a reading.
Why didn't you call me?
I
thought we were partners. This isn't like you, Lindsay. You're not a rookie. You just don't go out and confront a suspect on a whim, especially someone like Nicholas Jenks. Now he knows.
He already knew. He has been playing with us from day one.
Why? What's his game? It's not to end up in jail.
I don't know. Raleigh, I don't know.
I gotta tell you, I'm starting to worry about you. What's going on here?
No, I'm okay.
Well, you can't let this investigation eat you up. It's not healthy.
Do you remember that day in the office? When I told you things couldn't happen for us?
I think so.
The real reason is I'm sick. I have a blood disease. Sort of like leukemia. And unless things turn around, I may not make it. It's all so... I just don't know what's gonna happen.
Why didn't you tell me about this?
You know how much I wanted to? I could see what was happening between us. And that just made it so much harder. Maybe I was afraid.
Of what?
Of how you would react.
Lindsay.
I don't want to be alone. Not now. I don't want to hurt you, Raleigh. And 6 months from now, I could be dead.
Hey. That's not gonna
Lindsay! Lindsay!
Lindy, just a sec.
I spent the whole freaking day in our photo morgue. Nothing, then bingo. There he was. Oh, hi.
Hi.
There who was? Nikki. And guess who he had his arm around? None other than Kathy Kogut. Remember what Meryl said? Nikki was some kind of celebrity. The killer is Nicholas Jenks, the famous writer.
We know.
You know?
We found a connection to Jenks yesterday, but this photo is important.
Well, you did good work with this, but you can't print it yet.
Can I speak to you in private, please? Look, I have already kept stuff out of the paper because you asked, but this is different. I found this photo on my own. I mean, this is the type of thing that can make my career.
And kill our case. Nicholas Jenks already knows that we're on to him. He wakes up tomorrow morning and sees this splattered across the front page of the paper. Maybe he says the game is up. He's got a ton of money. The next thing we know, he's in Canada or South America.
I am a reporter, Lindsay. That is the bottom line.
No, the bottom line is, do you want to do something that will help this bastard get away?
Then why don't you guys arrest him? I don't know what the hell you're waiting for.
Cindy! Cindy!
What happened?
She's gonna run with it.
Perfect.
You can't just drag someone like Nicholas Jenks in for questioning.
Why not? His cover has already been blown.
By a newspaper, not a subpoena. There is a reason that I'm playing Dr. No. Nicholas Jenks is rich and powerful. The second that we go after him, he's gonna trash us.
Don't we have enough evidence to ask for a DNA sample?
I think so, but the DA's scared. He wants everything nailed down before we make a move.
He is such a weasel.
Cindy, Lindsay Boxer on line 1.
promote you yet?
No, but I got some flowers.
Congratulations. It was a good story. If I were you, I would have broken it too.
Thanks, Lindsay. That means a lot.
I'll see you later. Bye.
We're getting married July 4th weekend at Cathedral Forest.
Hey.
Don't you remember me?
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Please help me! Help me! Stephanie! Help! Help! Help me! Help! Help! Help me! Stephanie! Help! Somebody! Help!
So the next thing I know, we are all over each other. On the couch, in the bedroom.
Sounds like you had fun.
It was more than fun. A lot more. You know, the great thing about Raleigh is he's just an incredibly decent guy.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad for both of you. Look, I talked to my old dean at the med school, and he recommended a hematologist he thinks you should see.
Why?
Well, she's a pioneer. She's into all sorts of alternative medicine, and she's helped others. Other doctors have just given up on her.
Well, that sounds promising.
If you want, I'll go with you.
Thanks.
Like I said before, I am not gonna let you die.
About a year before Nicholas Jenks hits it big, deputies are called out to his house on a domestic abuse charge. His first wife, Joanna Wade, was pretty banged up.
She press any charges?
No. She says it was all a misunderstanding.
Have we heard that before?
6 months later, he's divorced and he has a brand new trophy wife. Jessie, that is her name. She was a makeup girl. He met her backstage at a talk show. In addition to pretty young things and expensive champagne, Mr. Jenks collects guns. He is the registered owner of a 1990 issue Glock Special.
The gun that killed brides 2 and 3.
Excuse me, sir. Your guests are here.
Okay, put this away.
Wow, look at this place.
Yeah, who says crime doesn't pay?
So, Inspector, we do meet again. Welcome.
This is my partner, Captain Raleigh.
Nice to meet you.
Captain, such a beautiful day. Let's go out on the patio. I understand you'd like to discuss these honeymoon killings.
I assume you've been following them?
Of course. True crime's always more fascinating than fiction.
Any theories on it?
Just one. Whatever you think you know, you're wrong.
What do you think we know, Mr. Jenks?
Please, Inspector, you didn't come all the way out here to play a game of Clue.
No, that's correct. In fact, we'd like to ask you a couple of very specific questions.
Go right ahead.
Do you still own a 9mm Glock Special you purchased in San Jose back in 1992?
No. I sold that years ago at a gun show in Vegas.
You have a record of that?
It was a gun show, Inspector.
Reason we're asking, a Glock Special was the weapon used in both the Eagle County and Cleveland murders.
You know how many guns I've owned over the years, Captain? Dozens.
The latest victim was a young woman named Kathy Kogut. Could you describe your relationship with her?
No, because I didn't have a relationship with her.
I'm sure you saw this in the paper.
Do you know how many photos like this I've taken with fans? Really, this is silly.
So you're saying you didn't know Kathy Kogut?
That's exactly what I'm saying, Inspector.
You have to admit it. A lot of coincidences here.
Not to mention you once purchased 2 cases of a rare champagne left behind at the first murders.
1989 Claude and Montmort. May be expensive by your standards, Inspector, but it is not rare.
How did you know that was the champagne we were talking about?
I read the newspaper, Inspector. It's my job to remember details. Now, if you'd be so kind, this interview is over.
Please, Mr. Jenks, just a few more questions.
Under the circumstances, Captain, any further questions you have should be asked of my attorney.
I'm sorry, honey. I didn't know you had company.
This is my wife, Chessie.
Hi.
This is Inspector Boxer and Captain Raleigh of the local gendarme.
Nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you.
They were just leaving.
Don't tell me my husband's finally gone and really killed somebody.
We hope not, Mrs. Jenks.
Thank you for your time. We'll see ourselves out.
What did she mean by that? I hope not, Mrs. Jenks.
You idiot! How many times have I told you to keep your mouth shut in front of strangers?
You're hurting me, Nikki.
Hurt you? I'll kill you if you ever do that again. You hear me? Do you?
I hear you.
Say it!
Yes. I'm sorry, Nikki.
You're so beautiful when you cry. I love it when you cry. I love you, baby.
I love you too, Nikki. I love you too.
How'd it go? Well, the good news was she felt Dr. Shimura's treatment was really comprehensive.
And the bad news?
I'm definitely getting worse. She thinks I have no choice but to try something radical.
And how do you feel about that?
It's scary. I'd have to accept the fact that I'm going into totally uncharted territory. She's using untested methods, experimental drugs. But if this doesn't work, I'm out of options.
It's gonna work.
Hello?
Victims were married in the park on Saturday, stayed over to go camping.
A hunter's crossbow?
I know, it's bizarre.
That breaks the killer's MO again.
Not really. Both wedding bands were missing, and 1 arrow on the husband, 2 on the wife.
I told you we should have arrested the bastards yesterday.
Lindsay.
No, damn it. How much more evidence do we need?
I know. Let's just hope something turns up here.
And 1, 2, 3, 4. Kick, kick, step and kick. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Kick, step, step, round, back, roundhouse, and kick. Excellent. Great work, everybody.
You know, that was a long time ago.
But you did call the police. So you must have felt like you were in some kind of physical danger.
Nick and I had a very physical relationship.
Is that why you got divorced?
There were a million reasons why I got divorced.
Do you know his new wife?
No. Why? Is he beating her up too?
Is that his game? Beating up women?
You ever read his books?
A couple.
Well, all that rage that he puts into his killers, all that hate, you think he just makes it up?
Do you think he's capable of murder?
Hey, I'm not going there.
Why not?
Look, I know he's capable of debasing another human being, especially women. The minute I heard about the first honeymoon murders, I thought of Nick.
Why is that?
Because of Always a Bridesmaid. That's why you're here, isn't it?
What's Always a Bridesmaid?
It's the first book he wrote. It never got published. It was so sick. He used to read it to me. It's all about this serial killer who goes around murdering brides and grooms.
Just like the real murders.
Mm-hmm. Exactly like the real murders.
If Joanna Wade thought there was even a chance Jenks was connected with the murders, why didn't she tell anyone?
She said it all seemed so far-fetched. Didn't want to ring any false alarms.
You think that's the real reason?
I think she's scared.
Me too.
Oh, there it is.
It seemed like the day after Crosswire hit the bestseller list, Jenks faxed my father to say he was signing with a big agency in New York. My father loved writers. He prided himself in reading every manuscript that came in. He used to say, "That's the least we could do. Give them a fighting chance."
Your father must have been quite a man.
He was. Nicholas Jenks broke his heart.
Jenks's first wife, Joanna.
Was really screwed. It's a miracle she didn't kill him. She had every right to.
Joanna told me about his first book, the one that was never published.
Always a Bridesmaid.
Yeah.
We couldn't sell it. Interesting concept, but the writing was convoluted and all cliches.
Do you still have it?
No. I'm sure Jenks does. He'll probably recycle it any day now and make another couple million.
Is there anyone besides Jenks that might have a copy?
You could try the copyright office in Washington. Jenks was always paranoid about people stealing his ideas. I remember he used to register everything.
That's a good idea. You've been a big help. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Anytime. There's one more thing about Jenks. Know what he once told me? He thought the ultimate research for a crime writer would be to actually kill somebody, just to see what it was like. Isn't that sick?
Thanks again. I think we should try to get a subpoena to impound Jenks's computer.
Talk to the DA. Oh, you all right?
Just give me a second.
What's the matter?
Must be all this new medicine I'm taking. I'm okay.
The problem is, by the time I get your subpoena, Jenks will be gone.
Gone where?
Okay, Nicholas Jenks was at the Fairbanks Plaza in Cleveland the night Kathy Kogut was murdered. He registered under the name Philip Campbell and has now been positively identified by a desk clerk and a bellman.
That's great.
No, it's not. The Cleveland Police Department are just waiting for the green light from their DA. The second that they get it, they want us to hand him over.
That's BS.
No way. We made this case. This is our color. Can't you just make a preemptive strike?
Not with my candy-ass boss.
What is he waiting for? A confession?
Something tangible, not circumstantial. Get me a gun. Find me some of the wedding bands.
Well, what about the book? The one his first wife told me about.
If that book is an actual blueprint for murder, the fact that it was never published would mean something.
Raleigh said the Copyright Office in D.C. is a total bureaucracy. It could take us days to even find out if it's there.
We don't have days.
What if he registered it someplace else?
Well, that's an idea. Can you stall Cleveland for 24 hours?
Probably.
We have to find this book.
Sorry, hon, all registered material is restricted. If your uncle wrote the manuscript, that he's the one that has to come in.
Oh, but he died last month, and my aunt can't find a copy. This is a novel that is like a family history. I wanted to give it to my grandmother for her birthday.
There's a process for this. Death certificate, proof of next of kin.
I mean, I'm not even sure if it's here. Can't you just look it up before I go through all that? Please?
I guess I can do that. What's the name and title again?
Always a Bridesmaid by Nicholas Jenks.
Nicholas Jenks, not the mystery writer.
I wish. Uncle Nick was an insurance salesman. Oh. Here's his social security number.
Looks like he registered 3 different manuscripts.
Is Always a Bridesmaid there?
Yes, that's one of them.
Great. Thank you so much.
This is a search and seizure warrant requiring you to hand over the manuscript for Nicholas Jenks's Always a Bridesmaid.
He wasn't your uncle.
Nope.
This is going to take some time.
We'll wait. The killer, reflecting on his own crimes from jail, asks what is the worst thing that anyone has ever done. And guess what the killer's name is? Philip Campbell.
The name Jenks used to check into the Fairbanks Plaza.
Here, I've divided the book into 4 sections. You all know the key facts. We need to find some scene or detail that parallels the real-life killings.
Oh, listen to this. Philip Campbell, his breath pounding inside, breaks into the bride and groom suite and kills without having a second thought. In the single act, he has washed away the stench of betrayal and replaced it with the fresh heretofore, an imagined desire. He liked to kill.
It was another wedding, this time outside a church. Same man, Philip Campbell, dressed as a chauffeur, sitting behind the wheel of a stretch limousine, waiting to take them away, hoping they would make love in the back seat so he could kill them as they climaxed.
The Eagle County murders. Okay, take good notes. We are going to use his own words to hang the bastard.
We're here to see Mr. Jenks.
Please, you must wait here.
Is he outside?
He's by the pool, but he'll be very upset.
What is this?
I'm sorry, Mr. Jenks. They insisted
It's all right. You go inside.
Yes, sir.
You know, Captain, you and your girlfriend are starting to get on my nerves.
That really hurts my feelings, Mr. Jenks.
I told you. You have any more questions for me, talk to my attorney.
Contact them yourself. You're under arrest for the murders of David and Melanie Brandt.
That's insane.
They can't come in here like this, Nikki.
Please, Mrs. Jenks.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and may be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney. If you
I
cannot
have an
afford
attorney,
one will be
Inspector.
appointed to
And when
you
he's
by the
finished with
court.
you, call Sherman left this second. Tell him what's going on.
Ah!
Stupid bitch! Who do you think you're dealing with? Hey, who put you up to this? Who?
Nikki! Hey! Nikki! I know you don't want to end up like one of your characters in your books. Get him out of here.
Come on. You blew it, Inspector. You blew it!
Go on, get him out of here! All right?
I'm all right.
Yeah?
What did he mean by you blew it?
Don't listen to him. He's just playing his mind games.
No, he's up to something. I can feel it.
Sure you're okay?
Yeah. Okay. You find a murder weapon yet?
Just these. Everything but a 9mm.
What about the computer?
He wiped that clean.
I'd seize it anyway.
We already did.
I was kind of hoping you'd find the missing wedding bands.
Oh, have faith, Inspector. I didn't bring you out here for nothing. Remember the bloody jacket we found at the hotel room?
Yeah?
Now, it's a matching set. We found the other half up in the attic.
Same maker?
Same style number.
You keep this up, Jacoby, I'm gonna have to stop bad-mouthing you.
That's one of my goals in life, Inspector.
Where's his bathroom?
Right through there.
I know what you're doing.
Match these, and put Jenks on death row.
Okay, let's see what we have. So how are you feeling?
Tired, anxious. I think my body's still adjusting to this new treatment.
Okay, it's ready.
What do you think?
As close to a perfect match as I've ever seen.
And we got him. We got the bastard. Oh, yeah.
Excellent. To the finest homicide detective in the Pacific Northwest. You look great tonight.
It's amazing what the biggest collar of your career can do to lift your spirits.
I'm so glad how things worked out.
We're a good team.
That's not what I meant. You know,
What's so funny?
I just remembered that look on your face when I walked into Ross' office that first day.
Captain Christopher Raleigh, I'd like you to meet Inspector Lindsay Boxer. Oh, you two know each other.
I
That's
swear,
good.
I could have killed you.
But you glad you didn't?
I guess so.
You guess so?
Oh, sorry. It's Jill. Hey. What time? Do you know what this is about? Okay. I'll see you then. Nicholas Jenks and his lawyer want a meeting tomorrow.
A meeting? For what?
I guess we'll find out tomorrow.
All right, be gentle. Come on, let's go. You have soft hands, Reggie.
Good guy, Mr. Jenks.
How is everybody doing today?
To begin with, my client would like to apologize to Inspector Boxer for his emotional outburst the day of his arrest.
It's called aggravated assault, Counselor.
The point is, I'm sorry. I really am.
Mr. Jenks, tomorrow afternoon you will be arraigned for the first-degree murder of David and Melanie Brandt. Eagle County and Cleveland will soon follow. We have an overwhelming amount of evidence tying you to all of these crimes. It is our hope that you will spare the families of the deceased the trauma of a trial.
Are you offering me a deal, Miss Barnard?
No. I'm simply stating the obvious.
Unfortunately, you all have chosen to ignore the obvious. My client is innocent.
Despite all the physical evidence and the DNA match against Mr. Jenks?
And an unpublished manuscript documenting each and every grisly murder?
Look, I admit there's some incriminating evidence.
But it's all been just one bizarre coincidence after another?
No, it's just one too many coincidences right after the other. I asked you here today to consider the unthinkable. That someone has done a brilliant job of setting me up. That you've arrested an innocent man and the real killer is still out there. For example, if I knew, which I did, that I was under suspicion, Why would I leave a pair of incriminating tuxedo trousers in my bedroom closet?
Even the brilliant make mistakes.
Not that big a mistake. You all right?
I just need some fresh air. It stinks in here.
Does that mean the meeting's over?
Lindsay?
I'm in here.
You all right?
No.
Talk to the doctor again?
Yeah, she said if the coughing stopped, there's no need for her to go to the hospital.
Once she got home, she seemed a lot better.
She asleep now?
Yeah.
That's good.
Do you think those new treatments are really worth it?
Sometimes there's a difficult period of adjustment.
I gotta tell you, for the first time, I'm scared.
Too.
Hey, Claire. That's not what I wanted to hear.
So how does it feel, Nicholas? How does it feel to be a victim? To feel the same degradation and shame you cast on others? To have the tables turned? To feel helpless, alone, and totally betrayed? Who's laughing now, Nikki? Who's laughing now?
Guard! Guard! Do you remember what I told you the first time you came to my house?
You said a lot of things that day.
I told you, whatever you think you know, you're wrong.
This doesn't prove anything.
Because you think I wrote it to myself.
Or you had someone else write it. You're a very clever man.
But that's exactly my point, Inspector. If you acknowledge my intelligence, how could I also be so dumb? How could I have left such a perfect trail of evidence?
It wasn't that simple a trail.
Oh, no? The incriminating champagne, the hair from my beard. Don't you think that once you cracked the code, it all fell into place a little too neatly?
Maybe that was your plan. To frame yourself. And then your lawyer argues that you're the victim of a vast conspiracy.
He will. And I am. But ironically, Inspector, you and I need each other.
And why is that?
Because we both have the most to lose. For me, it's my freedom. For you, it's your career.
Okay. You've convinced me. You've been set up big time. Now, who would you like me to go out and arrest?
That's your job, Inspector. But now you know. You have not solved this case, and the real killer is still out there.
Inspector. Hi. Nikki told me you were coming to see me.
I think visiting hours are over.
Well, I was just bringing some clothes for Nikki for court. I hope you realize, Inspector, that Nikki is innocent. I know my husband. He's capable of a lot of things. Maybe even murder.
That's quite a testimonial.
What I meant was that yes, he does have a terrible temper. But he could have never killed those two people with a knife like that. Nick can't even fillet a fish.
Mrs. Jenks, this discussion is very inappropriate.
Joanna told me about your conversation with her. She has every reason to be bitter about Nicky. Nicky was terrible to her.
Why were you talking with Joanna Wade?
We're friends.
Friends?
Yeah.
Well, I got the impression she didn't even know you.
We see each other all the time.
Does your husband know that?
Sure. He still likes Joanna.
Even after all they've been through?
When it comes to Nicky, Joanna's bark is a lot worse than her bite.
What do you mean by that?
I think it's pretty obvious, Inspector. She's still in love with him. See ya.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I'm reading this again.
You are a masochist.
In the book, the real killer brilliantly sets up someone else and gets away with murder. That's what Jenks claims is happening to him.
Lindsay, what the hell do you expect him to say?
But something doesn't add up. The day we arrested Jenks, he attacked me with his left hand.
Yeah.
And the night he autographed the book for me, he signed it with his left hand.
So?
So Claire said the killer was probably right-handed.
I cannot believe that now you're defending Nicholas Jenks.
I'm not defending him.
Well, if he didn't do it, who did?
The one-armed man?
Very funny. Look, all I'm saying is, if there is new evidence, we have a duty to review it.
What new evidence?
Well, you're the one who said the killer was right-handed.
I said probably, and that's a big difference.
I like the idea he framed himself.
So did I, but hear me out, okay? What was the piece of crucial evidence that told us Jenks was the killer?
The DNA match.
Well, that's one.
The unpublished manuscript.
Exactly. And who told me about that? Joanna, Jenks' first wife, who has this bizarre love-hate relationship with him.
So you think it's her?
Well, I ran a Social Security check on her, and back when Jenks was a struggling writer, she held down 2 jobs to support him. One was a cocktail waitress, and the other was a salesgirl. And guess where she worked? The bridal studio.
Rise and shine, Shakespeare. What? Get your ass in gear.
What's going on?
In case you forgot, my man, you're being arraigned today in Eagle County. We're taking you up early to avoid all the media. Get changed.
Can't believe you got me up this early.
It's not my call, Mr. Jenks. It's not my call.
We stopping for coffee, Reggie?
I see what I can do.
You have any kids?
2 boys.
Bet they're a handful. And an expense, too.
Oh, yeah.
What do you guys make a year? 40, 50 grand?
A lot less than you, that's for sure.
What if I gave you $1 million each just to keep driving north and go across the border?
You got $2 million in your pocket right now, Shakespeare?
No, but I can get it quick. No, I'm serious. I'll pay you guys whatever it takes. Hey, look out, there's a deer!
Look, I don't know Joanna well. You can't blame her for Nicholas Jenks.
Oh, I'm not blaming anybody. Joanna must have been pretty bitter. I mean, the ink is barely dry on their divorce, and Crossed Wire becomes a huge bestseller.
Well, don't you think she had good reason to be bitter? I mean, all the years, all the sacrifice, and she gets nothing in return?
I'd be bitter, too.
Excuse me, Inspector, but what I don't understand is why you came out here again. I mean, did you come to talk about Nicholas Jenks or Joanna Wade?
Both.
Why? What does Joanna have to do with any of this?
Well, probably nothing. Just trying to put together some pieces in a puzzle.
Well, the problem is, Inspector, when you're dealing with the likes of Nicholas Jenks, I'm not sure you can ever solve the puzzle.
Why is that?
Because you always underestimate how evil he really is.
Well, thank you for your time.
No problem. Call me anytime.
Hello?
Joanna,
Oh, hi. Yeah, we still on for tonight?
I just had this weird visit from that lady detective. She was asking all about you.
Me?
I don't know what the hell she was fishing for, and she was definitely fishing.
Listen, pick me up at 8 still, okay? Bye.
Have you been sleeping? Any more fainting spells since last time I saw you?
No.
Any more vomiting blood?
No.
Any general discomfort?
No. Why, did something new show up on the test?
Yes, it did.
I'm getting worse.
No, actually just the opposite. Your erythrocyte count jumped back up. See? You're actually building red blood cells again.
Well, what does that mean?
Well, you're not miraculously cured, Lindsay. Let's be very clear about that.
But?
Well, this is encouraging. Very encouraging.
Oh, sorry. What's up?
The driver was pronounced dead at the scene. The front passenger, Deputy Sheriff Reggie Moore, had a slight concussion. Nicholas Jenks apparently took advantage of Moore's condition to free himself from his handcuffs and escape the vehicle. Although this is being called the largest manhunt in state history, so far
Now
authorities...
you watch, we're gonna find out the guy paid off one of those guards. That's why there's no trail.
You may be right, but he's coming back to town.
Lindsay's convinced Jenks has been framed.
And he wants revenge on the person who set him up.
You need some R&R, Boxer, and quick.
Okay, maybe I am crazy. But what if I'm not?
Lindsay's right, no harm playing this out.
You two have been spending way too much time together.
For starters, we should put a 24/7 on Joanna Wade's house.
The ex-wife?
That's my hunch. She's the one Jenks is coming after. One of the things Joanna tried to sue Jenks for was future earnings. She lost, and it cost her millions of dollars.
Didn't Jenks' new wife say Joanna still loved him?
Who knows? Another thing about Joanna, she's a fitness instructor. Strong as any man.
I don't know, Lindsay. It all sounds too...
All of our evidence can be linked to Joanna. She knew what champagne Jenks had, the guns he owned. She was the one who told me about the unpublished book. She had the means, the opportunity to get his clothes, the sample from his beard, which would explain away the DNA.
You're forgetting one thing, Lindsay. The killer was a man. Claire established that.
Did she? Or do we just think she did? Why is everybody so hostile to the idea that Jenks didn't do it?
Because it's ridiculous.
I thought the whole point of our little club is to look at evidence in a different, more skeptical way.
I thought the whole point was to solve the crime.
I don't think we did. Unless you can prove beyond any doubt that the killer was a man.
I don't think I can do that.
Why not?
Because we have 2 killings with a gun, 1 with a knife, and 1 with a crossbow. And the only DNA evidence we have is from a man's beard.
Well, you keep meticulous records. There must be something, some indication.
I know what you're really saying is maybe I missed something?
Don't be so defensive. Everybody assumed the killer was a man. Maybe if you look at things from another angle.
Okay. I will take another look.
Thank you. at once? This must be really important.
We came to eat a little crow.
You found something.
Joanna Wade's phone records show she made 2 or 3 calls a day to someone we have now identified as her boyfriend. Her secret lover is Derek Lee, the literary agent. According to her boss at the health club, they've been hot and heavy for more than a year. And that's not all. We checked motor vehicle records. On the day of the killings at the hot springs, an SUV was ticketed for failure to pay the park entrance fee. The SUV was registered to...
Joanna Wade.
Exactly. Doctor?
Remember when I told you about the first groom who was killed and he was so scared he wet the floor? Well, that's how it was labeled when it came over from the crime lab, and they were wrong. It was the killers.
The killers? Well, why would the killer pee his pants?
Well, I'm not a psychiatrist, and maybe this is the first, and she was really, really scared.
Whoa, wait, you said she.
Since assumption is the mother of all screw-ups, I went back and checked for possible gender identification, and I found red blood cells, lots of them, and they wouldn't be found in a man's urine unless he had a bleeding kidney, which Jenks had never had. The blood's here because the killer was menstruating. You were right, Lindsay. The murderer was a woman.
Hello, Inspector. This is America's Most Wanted.
Where are you?
Well, you don't expect me to tell you that, do you?
Please, Mr. Jenks, we need to meet. Anywhere you want. I can protect you.
Hey, guess what? I don't believe you. I didn't call to arrange a surrender. I just wanted you to know that no matter what happens, I did not kill those people. I am not a murderer.
I know that. I know who the real killer is.
So do I, Inspector. So do I.
The ex-wife just returned from shopping.
Okay, just sit tight until we tell you to move. Jacoby has Joanna covered.
What about the boyfriend?
Gomez and Perchu have been there since midnight.
We have got to make sure that Jenks isn't hurt. If he is innocent...
He is, Jill. Claire triple-checked the tests.
Yeah. Lindsay, Philip Campbell's calling. Says it's urgent.
It's Jenks.
Switch it in here.
No, keep it outside so we can set up a trace. Yeah.
So nice to hear your voice again, Inspector.
Please, Nicholas.
Nicholas. My, are we getting chummy?
I can prove you're innocent.
So can I, Inspector. But I'm not gonna let you take the credit.
He's in Chinatown.
Oh, hey! I thought we were having coffee. Check with Claire. She'll fill you in.
Come on.
Damn.
What's the matter?
I have to call Jacoby. Where are you?
We're right outside the book agent's office now.
No, you should have stayed put.
We've got all available units. If you want, we'll go right back.
Forget it. We're closer.
What happened?
Jacoby went to Derek Lee's. Nobody's at Joanna Wade's. We just pulled up to Joanna Wade's house. Make sure Jacoby stays in Chinatown.
Look, it's Jenks.
No, it's Joanna dressed like Jenks.
Okay, I'll follow the car. You check upstairs.
Why?
What if it's not Joanna?
Let's just stay together.
We're wasting time. I'll call for support. Go on, Lindsay. Go on.
that down. Put it down. I should shoot you just for the hell of it. What happened? Somebody just killed Joanna Wade. Jenks? I don't think so.
Inside, let's go.
All I know is the person you're following just killed Joanna Wade.
He's pulling into a parking lot behind the Heritage Museum. I gotta go.
Chris! Chris! I swear, if you follow me, I will shoot you.
Just you and me, Nikki. In this romantic. Right here in the very place that we got married.
Look at you. You're pathetic as always.
Well, that wasn't a very nice thing to say, Nikki.
After Joanna Wade was found murdered in her Capitol Hill apartment, police rushed to the Native American Heritage Museum, where Wade's ex-husband, escaped fugitive Nicholas Jenks, was seen entering a closed area currently under renovation. Police sources say that Wade had recently become a prime suspect in the so-called bride and groom killings. Those same sources also say that shots have been heard inside, and there are unconfirmed reports that an officer is down.
All we know is Captain Riley is inside, there's been gunfire, and it's a possible hostage situation.
I'm going in.
I'm sorry, Inspector. SWAT Command said no one's allowed in until our boys secure the area.
Don't stop me, Sergeant. My partner's in there.
Wasn't I a good wife? Didn't I do everything that you asked? Didn't I do everything that you wanted?
What do you want, Jessie?
What do I want? I want to see you beg. I want to see you beg for mercy. Like Joanna and all those pretty little brides that you made me murder. Here are your souvenirs, Nikki. Before I kill you, I want you to remember all the people that you scratched. I want you to remember all the lives that you destroyed.
That's enough, Jessie!
I'll say when it's enough. We're playing by my rules now.
Drop the gun, Chessie. Drop it.
You.
It's over. Please. No more killing, Chessie.
It's not over.
See? Told you I was innocent. Lindsay.
Chris?
You all right?
God, no.
I never got to tell you. I love you.
God, no, don't give up. Oh, God, not now. I've been waiting to tell you. My doctor says I'm getting better. We have a future, baby. Oh, God. Oh, God. All I've been doing is going over and over the evidence, trying to figure out why I didn't catch on sooner. Why I didn't flag the fact that Chessie was a makeup artist. Turns out she started out working in low-budget horror movies. She knew all about prosthetics and latex masks. Ironically, my disease is now officially in remission. It's all so strange. I remember one of the happiest times of my life was the night I told you about my illness. Now here I am, telling you I'm gonna live. And I've never been so sad. Who would have ever thought that you would be the first to die? I think about you all the time. I keep replaying over and over again what we did that day. Why I let you go off by yourself. We should have stayed together, Chris. If we had, you'd still be with me now. I loved you too, Chris. I hope you knew that. Son of a bitch. It's not a Claude Montmore, but
As they say, it's the gesture that counts. If you'd given me more notice, I would have had my housekeeper stay and prepare us a nice dinner.
no, I'm not hungry, Mr. Jenks.
If you're not hungry, then why the surprise visit?
I just wanted to congratulate you. Face to face.
For what?
For getting away with murder.
Let's not be a sore loser, Inspector. Would you like me to open this?
No. Like you said, it was just a gesture. I've been rereading all of your books, and I particularly like this one.
Why's that?
Because in the end, the killer does get away with murder by setting up his accomplice. Exactly the way you set up Jesse.
Well, let's not confuse fact and fiction, Inspector.
I can't tell you how many times I've gone over everything, every little detail. But like you once told me, whatever you think you know, you're wrong.
And you're still wrong, Inspector.
Then indulge me for a few minutes. That's all I ask.
I'm all yours.
Because of the brilliant way you constructed this, everybody assumes that Jessie set you up. Of course, she hated you. That had to be her motivation.
Don't forget all my money.
Yes, your money. But unlike your novels, we both know that in real life, people can be very unpredictable.
Wasn't I a good wife? Didn't I do everything that you asked?
That everything included masquerading as you to kill people. Just like you planned it. Only someone as psychotic as Jessie. Someone who had been sexually abused as a child would blindly obey your orders.
And I was the brilliant puppeteer pulling the strings. You have been reading too many of my books.
Jessie killing strangers, and always making sure that you could prove you were someplace else. That was one thing. But her going all the way to Cleveland to kill Kathy Koga, that was different. That was personal. And it was your first mistake. It was only a matter of time before we connected the dots.
Don't flatter yourself, Inspector.
Oh, I know. You wanted us to find you. Like leaving the bloody jacket behind at the first murders. And I'm sure there were many other clues you planted that we never even found. But that was all part of your master plan, wasn't it? But your one fatal flaw that you couldn't foresee was your ego. Your biggest mistake was pushing this game to the edge, assuming that nobody would notice. And all your nasty little tricks were sprinkled throughout your books. In this one, the killer's a famous actor who jumpstarts his career by framing himself for the one murder he didn't commit. The great thing about America, he laughed to himself, is that a juicy scandal can become a valuable commodity if you know how to market it correctly. You just sold the rights to your next novel for 3 times your previous advance. Your publisher now thinks you're going to be bigger than Stephen King. That was your end game, wasn't it, Nikki?
I'm afraid only Jessie knows the truth. And if my memory serves me well, I believe your dearly departed Captain Raleigh shot her dead.
My biggest regret is that he didn't kill you first.
It's true. Jessie would do anything I wanted. That's why I picked her. You see, Lindsay, we were playing a very dangerous, exciting game. It was like a plot in a novel. And then Jessie began a rewrite.
Starting with the murders out in the woods. According to this scenario, that couple should have been killed after your arrest. Then new evidence would have been leaked to the media, and our whole case against you would have blown up in our face.
Funny thing, when Jessie double-crossed me, I actually loved her for it. She showed some guts for the first time in her pitiful life.
You're even sicker than I thought.
Please, Lindsay. Let's not resort to name calling. I'm sorry I didn't have time to wrap this. It's a copy of my latest book, The Return of Philip Campbell. I think you'll find it amusing, especially the last page. Would you read it for me?
Philip knew the pretty homicide detective would eventually figure things out. And she would have a need to confront him. But he was ready. Oh, was he ready? He laughed to himself as he threw her lifeless body into the ocean, confident the currents would quickly take it out to sea. And without a body, he smiled. How could anybody ever prove there had ever been a murder?
You see, Lindsay? Sometimes life does imitate art.
You call this art?
Now, that wasn't very nice. That wasn't very nice at all. When I was in prison, Lindsay, I often thought about you. What would it be like to make love to you? Now I'm gonna find out. But first, I'm gonna kill you. Because that, Lindsay, is always Philip Campbell's coup de grace. Oh! Where do you think you're going? He laughed to himself as he threw her lifeless body into the ocean, confident the currents would quickly take her out to sea.
Here's my coup de grace, Nikki. May you burn in hell.
Hello?
It's me. Call the girls. I just killed Nicholas Jenks.
Lindsay, are you okay?